Okay, thanks. So welcome back to the open session of the Board of Selectmen for Monday, November 6, 2017. We're meeting in the Lawrence School in advance of town meeting. And the first item on the open session agenda is to discuss both motions and reports to town meeting as needed. Mr. Suso, did you have anything particular in mind?
Well, we're bringing forward a suggestion for a new motion on the Article 28 that we ask the board to provide your consideration on related to eminent domain. And I would defer to town council for his comments on that and why that would no longer be needed.
Right.
The motion on Article 28 is to go forward with the purchase of the Andrews Farm. The motion is made as a recommendation of the Community Preservation Committee and the Finance Committee. We are asking that you approve an amendment, or not an amendment, but a change to the motion as printed in the warrant book to delete the words "or take by eminent domain." So the authority will be for the Board of Selectmen to purchase all or portion of the land known as the Andrews Farm, and so on and so forth. We are doing this for two reasons. One, we typically put the language about eminent domain in an article because at the time the article was created, we don't know the state of the title. Since then, we have examined title. We've determined it's okay. We don't need the power of eminent domain to clear the title. And also, because it has come to our attention that we have issues under Chapter 79A, the Relocation Act, and by deleting the words "or take by eminent domain," we have the advice of counsel on that issue that it will soften or limit the impact of the Relocation Act and our responsibilities under it.
I move that we concur with those changes.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Can I just clarify?
Yes.
How did, because is the Finance Committee Chair moving this?
Yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
You're just assenting to their
Concurring.
change.
Right. No, I just was wondering who was doing it
Right.
at the town meeting. Okay, thank you.
Great. Next, we have a discussion of staff committee outreach. And I just kind of wanted to bring to the board, Peter gave a comprehensive report, I think it was the last meeting we were at, about the outreach element that the board is doing in terms of the community and making an effort with the facilitator, Linda Poe. The date that we proposed for that, Peter, remind me?
February 3rd.
February 3rd.
It's a Saturday.
Okay, great. And so I wanted to kind of complement that with the board's other idea in the strategic planning meeting, where we talked about having a similar initiative with the Board of Selectmen, the staff, and all of the town committees. So part of this original idea of the strategic planning meeting we had came about from the concept of a sense of place that Eric Turkington and Mary Pat Flynn did, and a few other folks a few years ago. And so we can, kind of take some of those elements and really look at, some broader planning issues for the town and look to the future. And in order to do that, we want to make sure that we're all, doing our best work and taking advantage of all the expertise that we have. So one model that I wanted the board to look at would be in the middle of February, around February 14th, and have, what could be termed a Valentine party where staff and committee members hand out business card Valentines, introducing themselves and saying what they do, their position, their mission statement. In terms of committees, I think that will give the committees a chance to review their mission statements and see if any updates might be necessary. The event would be set up sort of like an open house at Town Hall, and folks could kind of set up vendor tables and give information about what their particular department or committee does and how they can work with other committees and departments going forward. So I just wanted to ask the board for an opinion on that idea as it complements the strategic planning community outreach effort. Megan?
But I think it's a great idea. I think it's the sort of the second half of what we're trying to do. And it really goes hand in hand with what we've tried to do already by having these joint committee meetings. And this just kind of opens that up, I think, a bit more, and it makes it a little bit more inclusive. I think, you know, the staff and committees are really the backbone of all the things we hope to do. We have the most, you know, we can have the most wonderful creative plans, and if that piece isn't there, then they're not going to go forward. So I think it's a great recognition of all the work that the staff, you know, all the members of various departments as well as committees do for the town, and just helping folks to get to know each other, put faces to names, the things that I think, you know, creating the connections that make things work more smoothly. So I think it's a great idea.
And I think ultimately it'd be great to, you know, kind of the final aspect when we go over all the information we collect is then, you know, put the committees and the staff and the public all together. So, you know, I think this is really getting us to our goal. Sam?
Yeah, I would say maybe this is my teaching background, but also just as a manager also. I think anytime you stop and put things into words, it really helps you distill things, and when people review it and provide insight into it, it really helps unify a sense of what our purposes, our objectives are. And I think that process, both in terms of the sense of place, but also in terms of staff explaining what they do in support of the town's services, I think it's an excellent exercise that'll reap benefits even intangible.
I agree.
Great. Anyone else?
It's a good idea. So it's an outreach from us to staff or from staff to the public?
This one would be the board, staff, and committees, and kind of an open house day.
But I was just going to say, your you know, the third prong, I think would fit nicely when we do our summer version of things. You know, maybe we do it in a forum where we have departments and committees with their vendor tables when we do, you know, however we structure that second piece, maybe with Linda. Maybe it's not quite the same as what we do in February, you know, but some version of it. We'll see what comes out of our February sessions, and perhaps there's a way to kind of bring those three things together at that event that we're going to try and do for our seasonal residents.
Perfect.
Just, I think I forward you the concern about school vacation week. I want to make sure, I think we should be careful we don't end up right in the middle of that, because a lot of people will be gone to family vacations.
Good.
And I'm trying to think if Valentine's Day, the 14th, I thought it was after that, I think you told me.
I think it's the
I did
week,
not know the exact date. So
Right.
it's
I-
usually the
Okay.
week of Lincoln's
Right, it
birthday,
is.
which just might be the next one, but yeah. We can,
So we'll be sensitive to that. It's great. So I don't think we need a vote. I mean, it's kind of just continuing our plan. The next item would be to discuss, consider, and vote the date for the April 2018 town meeting. Mr. Suso or Frankie, do you have?
Recommended Monday, April 9th.
It was reasonable.
Discussed that with Town Clerk Michael Palmer and Town Council. We have a tight deadline to file matters to appear on the May municipal ballot. Monday, May 9th would accommodate that.
April 9th?
I'm sorry,
April 9th.
Monday, April 9th would accommodate that.
And the town moderator, did you have a chance to?
He's
swing
right
up?
here. No.
Well,
You can ask him.
Yeah.
Mr. Moderator?
Oh.
We're just picking a date for town meeting for April 9th. It's a Monday. Does that sound good to
As
you?
long as my plane gets back in time.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, we'll cross our fingers for that.
Is there
All
a
right,
chance that that's
keep us
bad?
surprised.
We'll make it work somehow.
Okay.
Great.
Thank you.
All right, so can we have a motion?
We adjourn? Oh, move. We have a meeting on
Yes.
April 9th?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And then there's one more item, it's to approve an application for an agricultural liquor license, Cape Cod Winery. Mahoney's Garden Center is having Ladies Night Out Holiday Open House at 958 East Falmouth Highway on Thursday, November 16, 2017.
I move approval.
Second.
I thought we already approved it.
I think it's maybe another
This is
date.
the second one, it's a different vendor.
Okay.
But you're right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Jones?
I move we adjourn.
Can I
Second.
bring up two
Hold
other
on, sorry.
Oh, sorry.
brief items? The board had asked me for a written report on the half marathon.
Oh, thank
great.
you.
This is
Great.
a copy of that. And Madam Chair, one other item. The board will recall, thank you. that about a year ago, you authorized my applying on behalf of the town of Falmouth, working with other Upper Cape towns for regional funding for a wastewater initiative with Joint Base Cape Cod. That is now underway, as you know.
Yeah.
We were successfully funded. It's a one-time-a-year cycle, and there's a chance to begin an application for a successor consulting package, continuing to build on what we're doing. And I would like to pursue that if the board would be so agreeable. It does not obligate any funds on the part of the town. It's just continuing the process that we've staked out. And, you know, once we have our final product from phase one, I'll be sharing that with the board, but it has been very successful so far.
Yeah, no, I appreciate the initiative and moving that project forward.
The next step.
Since you brought up the subject of the marathon, a number of my neighbors have complained about the conflicts on Sunday morning with their church services and access to their parking lots. At some point, I think we need to take a look at how these marathons are conducted and whether we can't move those events in such a way that it doesn't interfere with people's normal activities. So it was the
They
marathon.
purposely try and do it early in the day to
Avoid the church
to avoid
services.
that. I know that those that go to the earliest services can be pinched a little bit, but as they go later in the day, sometimes the services are even larger, but we can certainly raise that. Happy to do it in our special events review.
Yeah, I wasn't talking about discussing it now. I just felt
Right.
it needs to be brought up at the
In the
appropriate
greater
time.
context.
Doug?
Often people don't think when they're complaining about something, it's not like a police emergency, they don't think to call the police. So it's not surprising that there's probably no complaints to the police because it's just a marathon. And if it's not a public safety or real emergency, people probably are shy about calling the police. So I think we're fielding some complaints that are not going to show up on the police reports.
I think there have been enough issues that it probably makes sense to have some kind of, broader discussion with elements of different parts of the public so when this event comes before us next time.
Right.
So
Or
that
leading
maybe-
up to it so we can talk about,
Exactly, a couple months
We'll
in
just have
advance.
to ask some better questions about how it's
yeah.
laid out.
And to get that public input, so we're sure we ask those questions.
Right.
And we have that events group that reviews these things. Correct. And if they're thinking in terms of some of these issues, it might help to condition them properly.
Yeah.
Great.
So do you need a vote for that?
I would ask if I might have a vote on that successor application, if that would be.
So
Does it
moved.
need to be on the agenda to do that? I was going to take a vote at a later date, I'm just not.
It could be, by the time your next meeting rolls around,
Frank,
I
does it
think
matter?
I think the application will close, so I would ask for you to approve it after the fact in the case of the plan.
Yeah, so you take a vote now and it'll be confirmed.
Okay, so who made the motion?
I move, yep.
Okay.
Nice.
All those in favor?
Aye. Great, thank you.
Thank
And
you.
now we're
We'll
back
just
to the
remember to put
adjournment.
that,
It's more of an administrative procedural thing.
now we need the motion for
All those in
adjournment.
favor?
You want to do it?
I tried.
Thank